On the line right now is Virginia Delegate Bob Marshall, Republican from Prince William County. He is a member of the House of Delegates, of course, but he would like to be a member of Congress. He is among the many who are running for Virginia's 10th congressional seat, the one that was formerly occupied, or is currently occupied by Frank Wolf. Delegate Marshall, there's so many people running for this office that I really wonder if there's going to be anybody left to actually go to the polls and vote on Election Day.
Well, I'm asking my mother and wife to go to vote.
All right, so at least they'll be there for you.
Lock up the Marshall women's vote.
Yeah, so let me ask you, Delegate Marshall, why are you the guy who should replace Frank Wolf?
Well, I have 23 years' experience. I've never voted for a tax increase. I have routinely challenged both Democratic leadership and Republicans. I was the only state legislator to sue the Democrat governor, the Republican speaker, the Republican attorney general when they they passed a law setting up unelected taxing authorities. So 1 out of 140 does it. I had to raise $100,000 on my own to pay the attorney. I won a 7-0 decision in the Virginia Supreme Court, and taxation without representation is still illegal in Virginia because of my lawsuit. So I take an oath to defend the Constitution, not a clique in the Capitol. And the problem that I have been seeing and been conveyed to me is a number of Republicans are tired of just, quote, having somebody in office that has the label but doesn't have the reality.
Delegate Marshall, thank you for joining us today. And I read in the Washington Times here from just about 2 weeks ago that you are standing by some remarks that you've made in the past that many people consider to be controversial. And listen, here's the thing. We're having the primary right now, but whoever emerges from this primary, they're going to have to square off against a Virginia Democrat. And we know the playbook in Virginia. Terry McAuliffe has shown us the playbook. He just used it there against Ken Cuccinelli, and that is war on women, war on women, war on women. So since you have said that you stand by your statements, I need you to at least explain a statement that you made, and it had to do with children with disabilities. You said in 2010, this was an event where you called for the end.
No, wait a minute. I did not use those words. We adopted 3 children, one of whom we were told had a 50% chance of dying as a young adult. We adopted her anyway. I stated...
Can I ask the question before you answer it? Let me ask the question, and then you can answer it. Your quote was, and I'm quoting you, and if I'm misquoting you, please tell me. The number of children who are born subsequent to a first abortion who have handicaps has increased dramatically. Why? Because when you abort the firstborn of any, nature takes its vengeance on the subsequent children. Unquote. Now, first of all, just a quick, simple yes or no, is that an accurate quote?
That part is,
okay.
When you smoke cigarettes, you cause lung problems.
Okay, no, hang on. So here's my question for you, because I'm a father of 4. My oldest has cerebral palsy. My youngest has autism. I assure you that there's no firstborn abortion in this situation. So when you say nature takes its vengeance, I need you to explain to me, do you mean God is taking vengeance? Or when you say nature, do you mean this is just a physical, biological reaction?
It's a biological reaction. I have posted 258 articles from the National Library of Medicine, all peer review, indicating that there are serious complications, not one-to-one, but you're increasing the chance of problems in a subsequent pregnancy. I did medical research for 23 years. When I did that press conference, my goal was to get the consequences of abortion out, which Planned Parenthood wants to routinely hide. We don't even report complications from abortion anymore. So that's a 4-year-old story from from a paper that has manufactured...
But Delegate Marshall, I only bring it up because you said just in the last 2 weeks that you would stand by your statement, so I thought that you should explain your statement.
I stand by the statement I made, not the ones that some college girl decided to make for me. There were 10 regular professional media. The next day, nobody reported these bizarre statements that the Washington Times is attributing to me. I fought my own Republican leadership to get a bill on the floor of the House of Delegates for autism insurance. Nobody else did it. Bill Howe threatened to kick me out of the Republican caucus because I was pushing so hard on this. I said, Bill, go ahead and make my day, because you are not serving the people. I do not mind getting in fights with Democrats and Republicans. Every child is a gift from God, period.
But you do understand that this will, no doubt, if you were to be the Republican nominee, this will be what the whole campaign is about. You get that, right?
No, it's not going to be what the whole campaign is about. Why do you
think that they will not raise it?
I didn't say they won't raise it. You can't have a whole campaign about it.
Well, let me just say to you,
Yeah.
I've been around the block. I know how campaigns work, and I know how that ad is going to sound. Are you prepared for that?
I'm prepared to have people with disabilities speak for me. The head of the Autism Society in Northern Virginia, several years in a row, has made statements on my behalf, which I have put in there.
Okay, great. Delegate Marshall, let's move on to some other topics. If you do make it into Congress, one of the big things you're going to be asked about is immigration reform. And you know there's a lot of pressure on Republicans right now. They're being told by some factions within the party that they got to get on board with immigration reform or else they'll never be a majority party again. Where do you stand on that?
We need to undo parts of Simpson-Mazzoli, which precluded states from enforcing immigration laws. Several years ago, I wrote all the border state governors urging them to set up tax-exempt foundations to collect money to build the wall that will stop or severely impede illegal immigration, which includes people who are basically terrorists. People have admitted that. If we don't do that, we are handicapped because members of Congress don't want to follow through on building a 1,950-mile fence.
All right. And what about the Affordable Care Act? What would you do on day one as a member of Congress about the Affordable Care Act?
Well, number one, I talked to Eric Cantor's staff. They are to use all the tools at their disposal. When the decision came down from Justice Roberts claiming this was a tax, I contacted Cantor's office and said, look, now that they claim this is a tax, it is clearly unconstitutional because all revenue measures must start in the House of Representatives. The bill that was amended was a tax credit, which is not a revenue measure. It was from Charlie Rangel. You can't initiate a tax law in the Senate. The origination clause gives standing to only one class of people in the United States, and it's only 435 of them. It's a member of the House of Representatives. There are court decisions indicating that what was done can't be done, but Cantor won't do it. I explained this to his staff for 20 minutes, sent him my analysis. They didn't do anything. There now is a suit, but it's not being led by Mr. Boehner and Mr. Cantor. So we are out here for maybe throwing a little bit of mud at this, but not really undermining this. They have never started a serious budget fight over any of this. They could be, taking away money from the enforcement mechanisms, but they haven't done it.
All right. Well, Virginia Delegate Bob Marshall, we appreciate you joining us here today. Again, we're getting close to the time for the primary, and we'll be watching very closely.
Yeah, it's Saturday. It really came up fast. Good luck this weekend, Delegate Marshall.
That's it.
All right.
Okay, sure.